Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the commission meeting. Thank you for your patience. This is the Taos County Board of County Commissioners, regular meeting of March 5th, 2024. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Madam Clerk, could you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Romero?
Present.
Commissioner Vino?
Present.
Commissioner Brush?
Present.
Vice Chair Mascarenhas?
Present.
Chair Romero?
Present. Thank you. We move to inspirational devotion. I'd like to ask for a moment of silence for Mercedes and Emil. She passed away last evening. She's the county commissioner, Emil's grandmother, and my manager. And also, in addition, other community members who passed away recently, including Dino Romero, Juan Martinez, and others. Thank you, Commissioner. Mascarenhas, could you lead us in the pledge?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Salute to the flag. I salute the flag of the state of New Mexico, as the symbol of perfect friendship among the people. Thank you, and we move next to the approval of the agenda. And here I believe we have an item that we may need to remove before we approve the agenda. It's item 6B. Yeah, on the speed hump side of that, we've not received all the documentation that we did regarding the policy, petition signatures and all. And it also may be an issue that we could need to discuss further in a work study on roads. So, do I hear a motion for the approval of the agenda with that?
Mr. Chair, I move approval of the agenda with the removal of item 6B.
We have a motion from Commissioner Brush. A second.
No, it is 11.
So it is 11B. Thank you, Commissioner Hill.
Okay, correction, it is 11. Okay. We have a motion, Commissioner Brush, we've got a second. Second by Commissioner Romero.
Commissioner Romero?
Yes.
Commissioner Vino?
Yes.
Commissioner Brush?
Yes.
Vice Chair Mascarenhas?
Yes.
Chair Romero?
Yes. Thank you. We move to awards and recognitions, County Manager.
Good morning, Commissioners. I would like to start with Cheryl Rascon. Cheryl Rascon is a member of the Assessor's Office, and she's been with us 5 years. And she's actually, we were just talking, she's actually been with us another 4 because she was a temp employee. So she's currently the office manager in the assessor's office, and she does a pretty good job of keeping everybody on tasks there and working the budget, following procurement. So come on up, Cheryl. So we have 5 years of service certificate. 5 years of service to Taos County presented to Cheryl Rascon, February 2019 to February 2024. Taos County Board of Commissioners, FR Bob Romero, District 1, Miguel Romero, Junior District 2, Maravilla Middle District 3, and Jeanette Rush, District 4, and Mata Moscados, District 1. Thank you, Cheryl, we appreciate you. He's not here with us today. Probably on shift, but we want to recognize Nathaniel Sandoval for 10 years of service with Taos County, all at the Adult Detention Center. And Nathaniel was a very active member also in the union. So we'll pass that along to Nathaniel. And our next person, the fresh night here, is Cindy Fry. Cindy's 10 years of service with the county. Former Assessor Goodhill hired Ms. Fry into the assessor's office as an office manager, and then she transferred over a few years back over to the sheriff's office. So we have a years of service certificate for 10 years of service for Cindy Fry. And we'll call Dolores to come on up. There's a lot to be said about Dolores. She does provide excellent customer service. Between her and Russell, they're the first two faces in the planning department. And Dolores is an active member of the community, along with her partner Moises. You'll see them out and about in the community, and they're very active in giving back to the community as well. And as we all know, Dolores also started her career at the Taos County Clerk's office. And so she's completing 20 years of service with the county, and we have nothing but over the years rave remarks of good customer service Dolores provides. So Dolores, we have this year's of service certificate in recognition of 20 years of service to Taos County presented to Dolores from February 2004 to February 2024. The Taos County Board of Commissioners, FR Quabbin, Mayor District 1, Miguel Romero Jr., District 2, Burley Villa, District 3, Angela Bush, District 4, Paloma City, District 5. Thank you, Dolores, for your 20 years of service. 20 years of speaking. And before we call Daniela up to present the new hires, I'd also like to recognize other individuals who've completed years of service in the county. So we have Amberly Wayland with 2 years of service, Ron Seidel, 2 years of service in the purchasing department, Isaiah Martinez with 3 years, Bernie Valdez with 9 years, Blanca Lopez with 9 years, Joseph Eric Gonzalez with 10 years, he was able to be here even today, Ray Trujillo with 16 from the sheriff's office, Melissa Ortega with 16 years of service in solid waste administration, Tommy Martinez from solid waste station attendant, he has 21 years of service, and Rick Trujillo from public works with 22 years of service.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Deborah Marquez from the Human Resources Department, here to present to you the new hires for the month of February. So we have Matthew Fuentes, May Williams mechanic, Linda Manzat, P219 for an assistant, Chandler Kelly, solid waste hauler, Kyle Curran, firefighter EMT. We do have 5 new hires for the detention center, which include Christopher Hyde,
I can't even show.
Marsha Robinson, cadet, Elizabeth Ford, cadet, Julian Lopez, cadet, and Emelina Medina, cadet. Please help us welcome these new employees to the Taos County team.
Thank you.
I don't have anything. I can't change it to the desktop. Watch.
Move next to the public comments. This is an opportunity for anyone in the
I have no
room to come speak to the commission or speak to the public. We see one coming forward. Go ahead, state your name and where you reside.
Sam Richardson, Taos walking tours, to historical area, the historic district downtown. On the plaza. The plaza's been kind of dead post-COVID, post-recent.
I have a camera.
It's pretty dead down there, so myself, as an operating business in there, and a lot of the merchants trying to see activity. We understand our 5 events left this summer, which we have called Taos Plaza Live in the past. So the question is, whether it's going to be Taos Plaza Live, Taos, Kit Carson Park lot. We would like to see it back on the plaza like it used to be. So that's all I have. I'm casting one vote. I understand you guys are going to say you can make a decision. I'd like to see Taos Plaza Live back on the plaza. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Anyone else would like to speak? You have 3 minutes to raise.
Mr. Chair, Commissioners, Mr. Holyoke. I just wanted to take this opportunity to inform everybody in this room and also those listening online, a reminder of our comprehensive plan that we have right now. We do have our survey going on throughout the community. There are several flyers, both in English and in Spanish, where there's a QR code. We also have our surveys available here, a hard copy in the lobby and also located in the back of the room here for anybody who's interested in taking the survey now. You can leave it with the planning department. There's also a drop box outside for the planning department. And for those listeners listening online, you can go to our website, which is taoscounty.org, and there is a link where you can also obtain the survey both in English and in Spanish. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the room that would like to speak? Neil? No? Okay. If there's no one else, we'll move along then to the minutes, approval of the minutes of the meeting of February 20th.
Mr. Chairman, to approve.
Second.
We have a motion from Commissioner Rush and a second by Commissioner Hill to approve the minutes of February 20th. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll? Call the roll.
Commissioner O'Hara?
Yes.
Commissioner Rivas?
Yes.
Commissioner Brush?
Yes.
Vice Chair Mascarelli?
Abstain.
Chair Rivera?
Yes. Thank you. Move then to the contracts, agreements, MOUs, and bids. This is 10A. Mr. Hudson.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the commission. We have before you is renewal on the Mexico local government law. This is the third renewal, and this will also be their final renewal before we have to go out to request for proposal for state statutes of the purchasing state statutes chapter 13. But so we have a contract for $120,000 exclusive of New Mexico gross receipts tax. And it's our recommendation that we, it's our recommendation to approve the renewal. Mr. Andrew, any questions?
How many years are allowed for legal contracts?
4 years. So theoretically next year, well, not theoretically, next year, they'll have to go ahead and show request for proposal, and Mexico local government law or others can apply for that request for proposal. So since statutes that every like 4 years you go out for RFP for an engineer, a lawyer, and our auditors. So the timeline on the auditors is a little bit different, but generally it's every 4 years. And there have been some changes to some other professional services. Maybe it's engineers that can go 10 years. I haven't told about the change this year.
Other questions regarding the contract attorney?
I would like to make a motion to approve contract TCC 2021-11 Mark 3, a contract with New Mexico local government to provide legal representation for Taos County.
I'll second.
A motion by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Rush to approve the contract attorney. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner O'Hara?
Yes.
Commissioner Rivas?
Yes.
Commissioner Brush?
Yes.
Vice Chair Mascarelli?
Yes.
Chair Rivera?
Yes. Next item, our department matters, Mr. Hubbard.
Yes, Ms. Skinny, not available today, she's actually at the Land Writing Summit that's being held today, so she's representing the county at that function. But there's a very that she will down there. So on February 27th, the Taos County Lodgers Tax Advisory Board did convene and to review two applications, one from the City of Westland and Mindful Movements for Scholarship. And both events have occurred in the past. It's probably the first time that the City of Westland has applied for us. The recommended amount by the Lodgers Tax Board is $15,000 for each entity. Duke City Wrestling also brings the wrestling competition that brings families throughout New Mexico to Taos. And so there is gross receipts and Lodgers tax benefit for this as well. And mindful movements, listenership is something that's been occurring over the last few years, also at the Ag Center. And that also brings folks to Taos as well. So it is staff's recommendation along with the Lodgers tax board that we approve the two amounts for each entity and the amount of $15,000 respectively.
Commissioner Rush.
Thank you. So, Mr. Manager,
The fact that there is a current promotional Lodgers tax balance on there. And I think this is something new that I've seen that they're doing. So I just want to make a comment. Thank you for doing that so that we can stop asking what's left.
No, that's all Jessica. And then when I met with Jessica last week, they're also nearing completion on my words, the rules and procedures of what they're going to recommend to the commission on how the money should flow for next fiscal year.
Very transparent. Thank you.
Other questions on the, I would just like to say that we also do have a work study retreat after this meeting this morning regarding the short-term rentals, which is a source of revenue for Lodgers tax. If there are no further questions, do I hear a motion for?
Motion to approve the Lodgers tax individuals that have been presented today.
Motion by Commissioner Vehil, is there a second? Second by Commissioner Miguel Romero to approve the Taos County Lodgers Tax Advisory Board recommendations. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Romero?
Yes.
Commissioner Vehil?
Yes.
Commissioner Brush?
Yes.
Vice Chair Mascareñas?
Yes.
Chair Romero?
Yes, thank you. And we move now to, we removed item 11B, so we move to the consent agenda. Do we have any item on the consent agenda that any commissioner would like to discuss further? If not, I'd entertain a motion to approve. Are we on the right one?
Look at Miguel.
Motion. We have a motion by Commissioner Miguel Romero. Is there a second? Second. Second by Commissioner Mascareñas. Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Commissioner Romero?
Yes.
Commissioner Vehil?
Yes.
Commissioner Brush?
Yes.
Vice Chair Mascareñas?
Yes.
Chairman Romero?
Yes, and we're moving right along. We're on the county managers and report and matters. Mr. Jaramillo, update to County Commission on various items affecting Taos County.
All right. Well, Rachel took one of my talking points, but just a reminder again on to fill out the survey. And it's important. I filled it out. We're going to be sending something out to the employee base. So I encourage maybe Commissioner Bob Romero can do the Spanish version and see if the consultants did a good job in their translation of it. I wasn't brave enough to do that. Last week, we did meet with James Duran from the Carson National Forest. This is regarding our communication improvements that need to happen on Pickery's Mountain. What is currently happening is both the Forest Service and the county share on one tower our communications equipment, which is powered by a small solar array. And what happens is a lot of times our equipment goes down and then we can't get up there. And it's really Forest Service equipment that needs to be repaired. So what we met with James about is getting our own tower on the same footprint. And we'd work with Advanced Communications on that. And hopefully we don't have to do a NEPA study. So we did send over to James the information. I sent it over to him yesterday, what we got from Advance. So we want our own dedicated tower and solar panels, which is now Advanced, that should get us through the winter months and through those cloudy days. So it's one of the things that we're working on. DWI did turn in their grant agreement last week to the state of New Mexico. We also met with the fire and rescue department. There's a couple of things that we're looking at. One that's going to come before you is changing their PARA plan, the Public Employees Retirement Association plan, and moving that to a 20-year plan, because currently the employees are on the 25-year plan. So we'll be moving that to a 20-year plan, and hopefully that makes it a little bit more attractive. Maybe we can bring employees from Los Alamos Fire, and so they could come and work over here with us. We still have some ways to compete with Los Alamos Fire, but we're working on it. We did have a vacancy rate now is 16% for the end of February. I did email you the report from Ms. Elam. That's in your inbox. And just a reminder that the work study, well, not a work study session, rate study information will be presented in the next commission meeting regarding the rate study for solid waste. Just a reminder, they're still looking for volunteers for Read Across America. So if you're interested, please let Renelle know, and she will get a hold of Debbie Bonchell, and Debbie will get you scheduled. You should have received in your emails by now. There is a community meeting on Taos's Destination Stewardship Plan, which will be held on March 27th from 6:30 to 8 p.m. That will be at the Sagebrush Convention Center. Dinner will be provided, so they're advertising the dinner, so I'm sure there'll be lots of people like the last time. And we will post for a potential notice of quorum. The governor still hasn't signed House Bill 2, so there's nothing official on any capital outlay grants. And I double checked before we came down here this morning. And then we do want to have a priorities retreat with the commission as well. We do have a lot of projects going on. Yesterday I learned from Commissioner, the Chair Romero, that we have basically a 16-month timeline on the hospital. Just learned that yesterday. And we have a lot of priority projects that are all hitting at one time. We have to pave the road in the Veterans Cemetery. We need to do that by the end of June. We have a lot of projects going on. So I do want to, for the next couple of meetings, maybe shorter commission meetings, but then do retreat style meetings. We do have a presentation that's ready to go from J.R. Logan. And that that relates to budget. There's some other budget presentations that we would like to make. So as Emily works on the budget and we move forward with that, we can make these necessary changes, but I was kind of reminded of a couple of years ago, something similar time frame. We had a lot to get done, but we also, the commission allowed me to pump the brakes on everything else, and we just concentrated on the compensation plan, and the managers and the HR staff worked on that. We knocked that out, and we might be asking for that again from the commission, is just to pump the brakes on some other items so we could accomplish some priorities that have got onto our dinner table all of a sudden, and so we do have a lot going on. So so we'll talk a little bit more about that at the next retreat. So if you guys could please keep your Tuesdays open for the next foreseeable future, so we can prioritize our priorities. And one of those priorities that we did prioritize was the short-term rental ordinance that we'll hear about at the conclusion of this meeting. And with that, I stand for any questions. And I know Commissioner Chair Romero is going to talk about the joint meeting, so we could either do it now, or if you want to wait for your report.
Let's talk about it when we talk about the future commission items on the meetings and agenda. But the question I have is on the hospital appropriation. Do you know if the governor has signed that?
No, it's my understanding that it's in House Bill 2. So that hasn't been signed.
Okay, and she could veto anything out of that one.
She could line item veto anything out of it.
Yeah, but I do want to reemphasize that the money is available now, immediately. We don't have to wait till July or whatever, but we have that 16-month window to actually complete construction. So it's going to require a real Herculean effort by the county to work with the hospital to actually make that happen. So it is one of those projects. Yes, Commissioner Brush.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Brent, for the update. But you actually raised an interesting question in my mind, the money available now. Hopefully the governor will not line item veto that one, but that actually, we all know at the state and federal level that these grant agreements take a long time. So I am wondering how, if that takes a while, what's the impact on us? What do we have to cover in order to start meeting that 16-month deadline? And it's something else you said, Mr. Chair, about a Herculean effort. I hope that some of the money that is coming to us will allow us to basically hire out that effort. We can't take on a massive construction project in addition to all of the other projects we have going on. So I'm hoping that there is plenty of funding that we can allocate to hiring a firm to manage this big project, including the collaboration with the hospital, because we just don't have it. But and that just leads me to my last comment, which is to thank you for the focus on prioritization, because as you pointed out, it worked in the past to say, hey, wait, just give us 2 weeks. Don't ask us for any new meetings. Don't send us any, emails that can wait 2 weeks. And let's just get something important done. So I appreciate you bringing that up. Thank you.
And just, I guess for clarity too, I'm not necessarily certain, Chair Romero, that money is available right now if it's part of House Bill 2. And I think it may be available once the governor signs the bill.
And if I might, just to kind of follow up, Mr. Chair, as we start talking about budget, maybe this could be part of what we talk about. What are the impacts? What do we have to front? If we have these tight timelines, but at the same time, the money's not yet available until Santa Fe does all of its paperwork. What does that mean for us? And I'd like a good understanding of that.
Chair Romero, help me to understand where you got that timeline, because I'm not familiar with, and maybe Brent, you might shed some light on that. If in fact the governor signs House Bill 2, right? Where are we getting this? What did you say, 16 months, 18 months? Because that doesn't seem reasonable.
Well, it's my understanding that it's federal money. So it'd be some of the, or it could be some of the ARP money, but it's, what I learned yesterday, it's federal money. So that one has a little bit of a different timeline than the other money, so.
And I think it also could be that infrastructure, bipartisan infrastructure money, but we don't know that at this point.
Well, we want to make sure before that goes out to the public, because then we're undoing or trying to correct
So,
ourselves. So I guess it would be nice to know the facts when those are available, so that we can make sure everyone knows the true facts. But also, Commissioner Brush had some good points, and I will attest to the fact that putting brakes does help the staff, and that worked really well. So I just want to reiterate that I have no problem doing that, because it does work. And so appreciate the fact that you're being honest and telling us to put the brakes. Also concerned about all the fundings, the monies that come through. And I think Commissioner Brush has always pointed this out, and it's important. So I think we need to further discuss that. Often we're taking in all this funding, and for good reason, but sometimes we just don't have the capacity. So I think it might behoove us to upfront figure out what we're going to do in the future when we're anticipating these funds, because now it seems like we're going to be working backwards. We can't certainly stop, but we need to figure out those pieces, and it might behoove us to have a plan in place.
Right, and that's kind of what I'm saying, we need to talk at
Many times
next meeting, and
many times we're faced with anticipated situations where this 15 million for the hospital was not expected until the legislative session commenced, and it played out. And now the next step is, if the governor signs it, then we're definitely on that track where we have to address the issue.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions for Manager Jaramillo? If not, we'll move to B, Veteran Cemetery update. Mr. Richard.
Chairman, Commissioners, it's always good to be here. Veteran Cemetery is continuing to move along real well. Electrical and plumbing interior work is just about completed. They're starting concrete preparation for the canopy for the storage of sand and gravel and that kind of stuff that will be part of the equipment yard on the south side of the building and be fenced in. And things are moving along real well. We don't have any expected delays right now. Like Mr. Jaramillo mentioned, we got a grant to get the paving, not all the paving, but at least 2 legs of the paving in from C-110 to the entrance of the Veteran Cemetery. And we're working on getting the procurement and either issue a change order or bring in another state contractor. We're working with Ms. Beal to make sure the procurement's correct. But there is going to be a little bit of rush on that. So this coming meeting, whether we have a contract ready in place or not, we'll probably ask for permission to allow Mr. Jaramillo to sign on a contract when it's ready with whichever vendor, because we are on a really tight timeline. Like I said, everything.
So the timeline on the completion of the structure is June 30th?
Is June 30th. The timeline actually is the completion of the structure by May 30th, so that we can do a walkthrough and generate a punch list, and then give the contractor June to iron out all the little details, whether it's asphalt, painting, that kind of things. But yeah, 100% completion by June 30th, both paving and the structure.
What are the possibilities of doing an on-site visit for any commissioners that might want to do that?
Whenever you'd like. It's if you just happen to go out there, and the superintendent is all out there. They do 410s out there. So superintendent's out there. They have extra hard hats. You're more than welcome to, if you want to walk into the building.
Can we just show up there and?
Yeah. If you want to plan something, I can meet you out there. If you want to just drive around and walk around the facility, the crypt area, and see the chapel and see what's actually going outside of the fenced area, you're welcome to do that at any time during 8 to 5. I'll contractors out there working. But if you want to walk into the construction area, we need to use hard hats and follow safety protocols and whatnot, because we still have open trenches for electrical. They're, like I said, they're getting ready to start the concrete foundations for the canopies that will protect the sand and soil and miscellaneous materials that we have to store there.
Could you give us more details on the paving of that entrance? How did we acquire the funding, and what is our timeline there?
Timeline is to complete also by the end of June. The funding was, there was a notification that there was extra funding for cost overruns on capital outlay projects. And so the veteran cemetery has been all capital outlays, and it's not really a quote cost overrun because we knew we didn't have the money. But we said, let's ask for it. If they're asking for it, if they're giving us money, we'll say. And so we asked for it, and we did a rough estimate to pave 2 legs of it.
And then it's a requirement by the VA anyway, right?
Yes. It's, yeah.
Is that the complete circle drive or is just a one leg going in?
Two legs, one long leg, the west leg, and then the north leg. So you'd come straight in and then hang a right and go straight into the veteran cemetery.
Straight in this way.
It'll also allow us to, if with using facility build, we're thinking we can probably even do a little bit go on that return leg. So we'd have some additional overflow parking for large processions.
So do we have enough funding to do the entire stretch?
No, we probably have enough to do 2 short legs. If we did it, we'd probably have enough to do 2 short legs and the 1 long leg. There's some prep and clear grubbing, and we want to meet our road requirements, which are 20 foot wide with shoulder and everything. So it's the whole loop is 1.2 miles. So.
Is it, yes. Is there a particular reason why we didn't ask for enough to finish the entire, or was it limited?
No, it was a little bit of a miss on my part. I think there was, if I remember, there was like $1 million limit or something on it. And there was such a short timeline, I couldn't get quotes, so I had to kind of go through it and assess it. And so my best estimate was $1 million, and I didn't allow for performance bonding and gross receipts tax and stuff. And so that's a significant chunk of a performance bond is usually anywhere from 2 to 5% of the project. So it adds up pretty quick.
Well, thank you, Richard. You've been doing a really good job out there. And this is an example of what we were talking about earlier, that we have to move so fast that sometimes we don't have the opportunity to get the proper quotes. And, so everyone's doing their very best. So thank you for that.
Any other questions on the Veterans Cemetery? If not, we'll move to the Historic County Courthouse on the Plaza.
Chairman, Commissioners, courthouse, like I said, it's a complicated, sophisticated project, but it is moving deliberately and slowly. It's such a small space, so we've over excavated, put in our lean field concrete, and done waterproofing. And we've had our rebar inspection for the elevator foundation. That concrete's been poured. We've had the block work done to the finished floor level of the elevator, and that's been inspected and poured solid also. Concrete, so the masons go away, concrete contractor comes back, pulls out all the over excavations. Now we have the electricians in, having to get in conduits for data, telephone, our primary electrical, our secondary electrical. So all that electrical conduit, landscaping, sleeving so that we can get irrigation to the little landscape areas that are in there. So there's a lot going on in a little space right now, but it's kind of choppy because they come, one sub comes and they do this, and if the weather stops them, well, then it pushes this schedule back. And like I said, we really are, not just New Mexico, the whole nation is short of skilled tradespeople. And like I said, our concrete subcontractor is working on 3 different projects for us, for 2 different contractors, and on 3 contractors, three other projects here in the state, in New Mexico, in Taos, on 3 other projects. Our electrical contractor is on 2 of our projects. one for another, for the same contractor at UNM and a couple other places. So it's a very tight market. And so when schedules get jogged around, sometimes you lose some time. But everything is moving well. Now that we have tentatively received this additional funding, we've already had discussions with our design team. We have complete drawings, but now we need to say, okay, this is the funding we have and work backwards. We want a usable structure when we finish that money. We may not be 100% done, like floors. The plan was to replace all the oak floors. The flooring contractor said, they're in good shape. They are refinishable. Yes, they're a little bit wavy, but that adds a character to it. But at the same time, that saves $50,000 to $100,000 over replacing floors, and the building would be functional. And I like the old floors myself because they're actually part of the building. So now we have to do some strategic long-term planning, and so have our end game and make a scope adjustment. The other thing that is going to require a scope adjustment, and now that we have this money, you've seen the leakage that's been happening at the courthouse and causing structural damage upstairs. It's something that we have to address. We've had our general contractor bring in several roofers to look at it. It's one of those things that it's really throwing good money after bad if we try and patch it. There's just no way to warranty it. Now that we have this money, we know that we're getting this money, do a scope adjustment, do a change order, actually do the lower part of the roof. Because of this type of roof we're doing, it's the same kind of roof that we have here at the judicial complex. We can roof it, and then as we make penetrations for air conditioning and exhaust fans, it allows us to do it a correct roof. That's the way you do it anyways. You put the roof down, and then you have to flash your curbs in and your mechanical stuff. So we wouldn't be throwing money after. We're not going to be doing repairs. We'll put our mechanical equipment, and they'll do the flashings in, and we'll be good to go, and we'll still have our warranty. So that's the recommendation. They're going to start get us a quote, so we'll insulate and put a new roof on it this year.
So what you're proposing there, now that we have adequate funding, is to make the roof the priority, high priority?
Very high, because if we don't, we're going to continue to get not only wall damage, framing damage, structure damage, floor damage. I mean, we have plastic in the one room and buckets. When we had those really wet snows, it was terrible.
Do you need a motion for that, or just consensus from the commission to make that the priority?
We don't need permission. What we'll do is we will need permission for the change order, because it will be over $30,000. When we did this complex, we asked the previous commission that on large projects that we could let the manager sign up to $30,000 change orders, but we informed the commission this will be over $100,000 for this roof, and so. It'll be brought to commission for change order.
So the change order will be forthcoming then to do that. Okay. Commissioner Brush.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Richard, as always, for the updates. I don't know much about construction, but I do know that never had set your heart on an end date. So my apologies in advance for the question I'm going to ask, which is, given that we're focused on long-term and we hopefully know what budget we're working with to complete this, what would you guess, and I promise I will not hold you to this, and no one else out there should either, are we like 9 months out, 18 months out, 24 months out, before we have that usable building? Just a rough ballpark.
I would think a lot of it depends on when the funding starts. I mean, I'm expecting to see the funding to be available maybe August, October, as our other funding tapers off. With that being said, I would think that if we get an early enough start on the demolition and the utilities in the back of other than electricity, we already have our water in, we have our natural gas, but we're relocating a transformer and we're bringing in, doing sidewalks and the demolition of the east alley. I think, so we're 24 now. I would like to hope that the building would be complete by the end of 25. When you know what you have, then you can right now we're focusing on ADA and making it functional. Well, now we can have people working on bathroom demolition, other utilities, restoration, have the roof open, electricians working on the courtroom area, upgrading the utilities and insulation and re-roofing. So a lot of things can be happening instead of having to go through this little pathway of construction.
Thank you. And again, knowing that all kinds of things can happen, so many of them out of our control, will not hold you to end of next year. Just, it's helpful for context, just so we can kind of like have a realistic image of like, hey, fingers crossed, money comes in and contractors and everyone's available as expected and needed. And then we might be looking at this. So thank you. Appreciate it.
No problem.
Thank you, Commissioner Brush, for that question. Timeline, and we always know in construction, there are always contingencies. We'll see what happens. Any other questions on the historic courthouse for Richard? If not, general construction.
Okay, general construction. First thing I want to do is I want to shout out to the guys from Public Works. Last week, we effected a repair on a bridge, the little bridge in Hondo, just below the post office that had been on New Mexico DOT's watch list for a few years. And staff did a really good job, very safe. The bridge is repaired per New Mexico DOT specifications and ready for inspection. And the guys did a really good job. And so I think it shows the talent and the staff we have here at Taos County. So like I said, I want to give a shout out to the Public Works guys. They did a good job. Generally, our fire departments are in design. Costilla and Red River are working on design groups. We've got our grant agreement for La Cienega, and so we have our revised proposal because pricing changes continually. And so we're going to start getting that one ready to go to contract and start fire up construction again in La Cienega. From La Cienega, let's see, fire suppression. So we have the tank in, a 30,000 gallon tank in at the San Cristobal Fire Station. The hydrants in place. They'll start doing the electrical and the plumbing so there'll be a 30,000 gallon storage facility now at San Cristobal. We met yesterday at Rio Fernando. We have a 40,000 gallon storage tank already on site, and they'll start the excavation this week. And that'll be another fire hydrant, and it'll help everybody with their ISO and their home insurances. Carson Fire Department is also under design. We've ordered some equipment for the detox center, the one here on Paseo. Design work is going in process for the detox center next to the hospital. Ag Center, we're waiting on heating and air conditioning equipment, and so that they can mount that on the roof and do the duct work. Walls have been constructed and they're already sheetrocked in the classrooms, but until we get the heating units, and that's one of the things I just got a report from Gordian last week that I was reading. Electrical and heating and mechanical equipment nationwide is just really long lead time still, and it's not just New Mexico, it's nationwide. So we are waiting on equipment for the Ag Center to finish the classrooms, but it is moving forward. Peñasco Community Center, design team has met and refined the plans a little bit more. We got our geological report from the testing company. We are going to have to go do, I would recommend that we go and do a pothole up there. It appears to be a very rocky site. And so the coring drills had refusal at 4 feet. We usually like to drill down around 20 to 25 feet. It could be a good thing and a bad thing. If it's just big rocks, that's great because it is good for a building structure. If it's solid rock, that's terrible because it's expensive to prepare for a construction. But that's all moving forward also. So that work in Peñasco is going forward. And that's about it.
What about the other community centers? We did receive 100,000 for the El Prado Community Center, Talpa Community Center, and Llano Quemado.
Llano, I haven't seen I know Llano Kamala wants paving, and so we have done some estimates on paving from what we did historically. We had a historic cost because we did the health building. Oh, wow, it's already going to be 2 years. And so, like I said, a little bit is guesstimating because we don't have the engineering. It's hard to estimate when you don't have the engineering. But my understanding was Llano wanted additional paving, which would be good for drainage, good for handicap accessibility, good for everything. If it's got 100,000, we'll be able to do a significant amount of paving. Talpa, I don't know what they want. I think they want to work on windows more just to make the building continually more efficient. We re-roofed the main part of the building. Now that's going to be 2 years too. And they haven't had any leaks. And along with the roofing, when we put TPO roofing like we have here, we also add insulation, and that's how we get the slope. And so it makes the building more thermally efficient and it keeps the water out. So I got to kind of see what the different community center wants. I know Arroyo Hondo, we're waiting to put a little bit more money together. We have the quote to repair their bathrooms, and we'd like to get started on that. The contractor's ready whenever we can get the contract together, and that's once I know what people want, then we can work with them.
Commissioner Brush.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you again, Richard. I think you might have just answered my question, which was the status of those updates and repairs to the Hondo Community Center.
So, like I said, we have some money that we're trying to locate more funding to complete the bathrooms. We've got the quote and it's ready to go to contract. So once we have the total funding package, we can put it out. Facility bills ready to jump on it. Then we have the design already done and it's ready to go.
Other questions for construction manager? If not, thank you. You have a full plate as construction manager for Taos County because we have a lot of projects.
I enjoy it. We're having a good time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. And with that, then we move to approval of letter of support for UNM Taos. Mr. Jaramillo.
UNM Taos requested a letter of support from the county for their congressionally directed spending request, as it is our process. The letters of support come before the commission, so I do recommend approval on it as well.
Move to approve. And I will second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Brush to approve the letter of approval for UNM Taos. Madam Clerk, would you call a roll, please?
Commissioner Romero?
Yes.
Commissioner Vehil?
Yes.
Commissioner Brush?
Yes.
Vice Chair Mascareñas?
Yes.
Chair Romero?
Yes. And we move to Commissioners' reports and matters. A is new business to be considered at future commission meetings. And here we did get an email from CEO James Kaiser at Holy Cross Hospital regarding the financial reports that the hospital gives quarterly, and he wanted specific dates or times for that. Mr. Jaramillo, I guess, did you have communications with Mr. Kaiser? Or he proposed, I believe, dates of April, July, October, and January for each quarter. Is that correct?
Yes, per his email. I've not had no other communication with him. I wasn't able to get a hold of him yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
So just based on his email, that works for us.
So the next one then would be sometime in April.
Right. Plus their quarters are not our traditional quarters. So.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if we have consensus on that, I guess we could communicate that to Mr. Kaiser. Moving in on that, the mayor has proposed a joint meeting between the county and the town for March 21st at 4:00. And have you had communications with the town manager on that?
Chair Romero, no, I have. I've only learned of this through you yesterday. for the Friday.
Commissioner Romero.
Joint meeting that we're going to have, how many items are going to be on?
I think the items that have been proposed at this time have been the LEAD program, the law enforcement diversion, an item on cleanup, a joint cleanup between the town and county, a gorge bridge item, and also an update on the status of the plaza, the plaza between the communication between the town and the county, and recycling. So that's about 5 or 6. And there could be others if we have others that could be proposed. Commissioner Bush.
And Mr. Chair, I know that there's a conversation among the youth in the county about a gorge bridge proposal. I would want to, before we put it on our joint agenda, make sure that those young people who have been working on ideas and proposals are actually ready. So I just think that we should check as we get closer to make sure that some of the topics are kind of like, in a state that makes sense to put on the agenda.
Right. Matter of fact, if I could add to that, on that topic about the bridge, Commissioner Brush and I have been talking to these young folks, and
the mayor as well.
I was just going to say, and the mayor has been there as well. But we're basically going into our second meeting, so not sure yet what that looks like.
So the question has been raised as to whether or not we would want to have this item on the agenda, because the question is, what can the county and the town actually do regarding the issue on the bridge? But that's up to the commission.
If I may add a little bit of context to that. So these conversations have started simply because the youth, through a prior get together that Commissioner Brush and I had with TK1, brought up that topic, and they had several ideas. And I had talked to Senator Gonzalez about one of the ideas, and he was willing to listen to those ideas and be helpful if he can. And so that's what started the actual meetings. TK1, these kiddos are putting together a proposal, which will then be presented, I think, at the next meeting. So we can find out realistically what, might be able to be done. But it all stemmed from these young folks and also the folks at Vista Grande, because they had invited Pascual, the mayor, and I attended, and they also had the same topic. They're concerned about the bridge and what we can do. We don't really know right now what, there's a lot that needs to be talked about to determine whether or not we can do anything there. But I think some of the ideas, just for example, just to kind of throw it out there, they spoke about some signage, right? And so, that can be an immediate, something that might be workable. And so that's to be determined. But I think that what I'm seeing is some excitement with these young folks, that someone wants to talk about it, listen, and potentially come up with some ideas.
So there's been an ongoing discussion that involved the youth? It
has been. It's just that I think we're at a point now where they're putting some ideas together, some proposals that will then go in front of our senator and representatives.
Yeah, and of course the issue still is, since it is really a state issue, the state road, state bridge, Department of Transportation is the one that oversees it, and it's a question of what the county and the town can actually do regarding this issue. But
and there's truth to that
as to whether or not we should have this item on the agenda. So I guess we need it.
Right, and there's truth with that, but we have to remember that this is a bridge that exists in our county, and the reality is that we deal with it, from law enforcement to, we all know there are many pieces to this. So if any changes were going to be made, obviously we would be having those conversations with those folks at New Mexico DOT and BLM and the Pueblo as well.
Okay, so do we have consensus then to have it on that agenda?
Well, I would say that, Chair, I think what we're asking is we not move so quick on it because we're not quite ready. We don't have anything to really talk about yet, at least we don't know until we,
So you're saying wait?
do not add it on until we're ready to go.
Okay, I think that's, yes.
And Mr.
Commissioner.
Chair, along the same lines, if recycling is going to be on the agenda, I would want to make sure this is, the proposed date of the joint meeting is right on the heels of us hearing about the results of the rate study. So I would just want to make sure that we're checking with our staff that we understand what Taos County can bring to the table in terms of a recycling solution. And before we say, yes, it's going to be on the joint agenda, I would just want to make sure that we as Taos County are ready to have that conversation.
Okay, is that suitable for everybody that we just wait on that? That it might be premature. Okay, then we'll move to next item, which is, unless there's more on the future.
There is. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. And thank you for hearing us about the agenda for the joint meeting. Appreciate you listening. And also just trying to be efficient for that meeting's agenda. I have been in touch with, or she reached out to me, Michelle Roque, who's the prevention specialist at Rocky Mountain Youth Corps. She reached out about a resolution relating to alcohol use and the impact in Taos County. So we might be asked in one of the next commission meetings to consider that resolution. So that's just an item for 14A, new business.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Rush. Other issues for future committee meetings? If not, then we'll move to commissioner announcements.
I think, Chair, we should definitely mention that you and I attended a roundtable conversation in regard to the plaza. And so we were there to listen. And we did get some ideas of what folks want to see and so I just wanted to let everyone know that you and I did in fact attend a meeting.
Yeah,
I don't know if you
the
want to add.
roundtable reached out to us to
Right.
to come, and we accepted that to just discuss the issue of the future of the Taos Plaza. It was a very good meeting. A lot of people attended. I'd say close to 50 people, and very good discussion. And they're definitely motivated and interested in the future of the plaza and what renovations and improvements could be made. And this is another issue that we will have on the agenda for the joint meeting. So.
And commissioners, if I could, Chair, we did remind the folks there at the very beginning of the meeting that as individual commissioners, we were not there to speak on behalf of any of the other commissioners. Actually, we all know that we don't have the right to do that. And basically, we started off with the fact that what was in the paper is basically still true. We're still working out the details, and our staff are talking to each other. So just wanted to let you all know that, because I think that is very important, that anytime the two of us go, that the rest of the commissioners understand that we're very respectful, that we don't present any information. If we say something, it's
we're
us.
speaking
Yeah.
mostly for ourselves. So we're not speaking.
Yeah, we were the editors of our own. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner Vehil. Any other issues on the commissioner announcements? Okay, if not, we'll move to boards, committee reports. And the first one there is the community school team who is reporting. Commissioner Brush.
Thank you. Yeah, I think that I'm the rep there. The latest meeting of the group that is working toward the community schools collaborative entity met yesterday afternoon in Penasco. The Penasco schools were wonderful hosts. The culinary team, the kids team provided an amazing lunch, including dessert. But really what we were there to do was to build consensus about how to continue our forward progress, specifically around like, what's the purpose of this coalition, this collaborative? And just as a reminder, community schools is a specific model or strategy. It's not every school in the community is a quote unquote community school. It's a model that is about being culturally relevant and appropriate. It's about taking care of the kids' whole needs, whether that's food or laundry, and also involving the parents and meeting the household's needs too. So it's a very specific kind of strategy. And our main accomplishment yesterday was we had what Commissioner Vehil was there, Manager Jaramillo was there, because people are looking to the county. We've been convening these meetings in September, and they are looking to the county for leadership. We had between 20 and 30 folks there, from all around the county. And we did reach consensus on what the purpose of this collaborative is. From there, without the purpose, you don't exactly know how to build the board and how to like empower the person running the collaborative. And I'll just share with you very briefly what the agreed upon coalition purpose is, and that is to attend to the whole child and their family through a community school strategy by 1, developing and sustaining community schools, 2, building and organizing collective resources from the community and coordinating funding streams, and 3, assuring that community schools are owned by their community. So really what this is saying is that we agree that we want to support those schools that are already trying to follow the community school model and then extend it to those other schools who might be interested in following this path. So it was a great meeting. We will meet again to probably, I'm not sure when the next meeting will happen. As we get that date, I will communicate that. And that meeting will probably be like a very like logistics focused meeting, like what does the board look like, and who's going to hire an executive director to run all of this, like all those kinds of things. But it's progress. It feels like we're achieving something here, and people are all contributing. So I don't know if Brent or Darlene or Commissioner Vihil, you want to add anything from the meeting?
Actually, that was a great summary. I just wanted to remind folks that this is part of the, one of the initiatives of the 100% Taos community. And so it's definitely, we want to remember that's how it all got started, but it's a beautiful, it was a beautiful time to see people coming together to try to figure this out and with same mission and goals. So thank you. It was a great meeting.
And if I may just add on that, thank you, Commissioner Vihil, for that reminder that this is part of the 100% community effort. That effort again is focused on 5 services for surviving this world and then 5 more for thriving in this world. And community schools is one of the thriving services that is part of 100% community. So thank you.
And if I could just add, and you might just help me here, Commissioner Brush, but one of the gals, and I can't, is it Naomi from the school board? That shared some information that I thought was really interesting. And apparently a study that was conducted shows that the attendance of kids in school is much higher in schools that have community school models. And so that's, I think is definitely a plus, but I felt that was very interesting. And it makes sense because they're taking care of the kiddos, right, and the family and providing those needs. So that just proves once again that the model works.
Thank you, Commissioner Vale, Commissioner Brush. Anything else on that one? Okay, if not, I think we're at the point of adjournment unless we have something else. Entertain a motion.
There it is.
Motion by Commissioner Romero, second by Commissioner Vahil. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed. And we do have the work study immediately following, so we'll remain here.